Hey guys, welcome to another video and thanks for clicking on this one. In this video, I would like to share with you some important information that I believe will help you if you are an aspiring pilot, if you're currently working on your ratings, and even if you are a current pilot. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this to you is because I found it helpful. And as I always do, if I believe something is valuable or will save you money or will help you in achieving your goals or your dreams, I try to bring it to you. Now, one of the things that I will say is this, right? In order for you to become a pilot, you need to have your medical. Now, and in order to stay current and fly professionally, you need to remain medically fit. Now, there are situations and times in which you are maybe temporarily unfit, and there are times when some people become permanently unfit to fly, and that is when their license may be suspended or revoked. Medical license, by the way, may be suspended or revoked, which then means that they are unlikely to fly until the medical situation is addressed. Now, like they say, prevention is better than cure. That means that it's always best to be ahead of some of these things, maybe through early diagnosis, early treatment, or even just prevention, which means, doing the right things in order to prevent some of these medical ailments or diseases. And this is where this information that I'm bringing to you can be helpful. If you're an aspiring pilot, I know I was there as a young aspiring pilot. You kind of just ignore a lot of things. I mean, you walk around in loud places without wearing any hearing protection. You fly into the sun without protecting your eyes. The list goes on. And looking back, I realized I could have done a lot of things better. And even though you are young right now, one day you will get old and you have to pay for those things that you did to yourself over time, whether good or bad. So the goal here is that I want to equip you with this information. You can often do your own research, do your own due diligence, and find more information that may help you out there. But this is brought to you by the IKO, all right, and some other organizations out there based on research and data that they've acquired. So this is why I'm relying on this source that I'm bringing to you as factual. That makes sense. So let's dive into it. You're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for clicking on this video. I appreciate your likes and your comments. It does go a long way. So let me know your thoughts about this topic about being medically fit. I'm sure you guys have seen or maybe have heard about pilot incapacitation, where a pilot becomes unresponsive. And fortunately, we are not in a world where commercial aviation is, well, typical, transport aircraft are being flown by one pilot just yet. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But, as we know, that's why you generally have one of the reasons why you have two pilots on board, so that in case something goes wrong, the other person can step in. But how do we actually prevent some of these issues from coming up? Before we get into that, let me also mention something. According to the data that was released through a research, of course, I would bring it up to you right now. The leading causes of temporary unfitness, and you guys may not be able to see that, but that's what it says, causes of episodes of temporary unfitness. We have a list of this down here, and I just want to highlight the top leading causes of episodes of temporary unfitness. And what does that mean? What that means is that these pilots were temporarily unfit for some time until maybe they felt better or recovered, and then they came back. Now, understand that some of these causes can sometimes lead to permanent unfitness. So it's something to understand. But temporary unfit, one of the leading ones is accident, all right, by 18%. Based on the data and statistics, this has been a while, understand that, but to be honest, not a lot of research has been done recently anyway. But the point here is, and the information here is still relevant today. So accidents being one of the leading ones, followed by musculoskeletal problems. Okay, and what that means really is when you think about joint issues. And I think I have a page here that you can see on your screen, which I intentionally brought up. When you think about situations in which you have, maybe joint pains, back problems, things has to do with your muscles or skeletal, your joints, your pain, your muscles, and some of these can lead to serious diseases and reasons why pilots can become unfit. Think about it. As a pilot, one of the things that you do is you sit down a lot, and that could, over time, over the years, over decades, can become a problem. The other thing to also understand is that the aspect of joints, especially for like people that are flying loud, or a lot of airplanes that has a lot of vibration, for example, over time could cause joint problems, all right, or pain in the body and stuff like that. So anyway, that is the next, the second leading problem or cause of temporary unfitness amongst pilots. All right, the third one is your cardiovascular health, and you can see it actually has about 14% of the data that they gathered then. Back then, of course, was one of the leading, and till today, it is still one of the leading causes of pilot incapacitation as of today. All right. The next one here is the believe psychiatric, and this is where mental health comes into play. Psychiatry can be caused by stress, maybe family issues, death in the family, just drug use, okay, drug and alcohol use, things like that or add drugs, things like that can lead to psychiatric problems. And it's the third, or maybe the fourth one now, okay, leading one, followed by gastrointestinal. And this also leads to, like, when it comes to like organs in the stomach, kidney, things like that. All of those can be another problem. Now, understand the reason why I'm highlighting this top 5, I would say, and by the way, there's another one that I think is interesting, is ear, nose, and throat. Of course, as we know that could also, if you have an infection in your ears, that could definitely lead to temporary unfitness. The reason why I'm highlighting this is really to let you know that those are the top 5 leading causes of temporary unfitness amongst pilots. Now, what can you do, though? I think that is the important part of this video. What can you do to prevent some of these problems? And this is where this document comes in. It's called the Fitness to Fly, a medical guide for pilots. Now, this book itself or guide isn't something that is I will link this below if you're interested, and you can take a look at it. But there's a more detailed guide on it. I think it's about $39 if you're interested in it. It's not by me. This is from the ICAO, I think IATA as well, and IFALPA, I guess, IFALPA. They've contributed to make this guide, and I think it is very important to just talk about some of the important highlights from this. Okay, it breaks it down into different subjects or different content. But the key thing here is, for example, for the cardiovascular health, it says, gives it, get active. Those are the things you can do. Understand your blood fat levels, manage your blood pressure, eat healthy, maintain a healthy weight, understand the risk of diabetes, and stop smoking. For example, when it comes to your mental health, it gives you recommendations on what you can do. For example, connect socially with others, keep learning, give to others, be mindful, and get active as well. The next one is the alcohol, all right, impact of alcohol and drug use, and it kind of gives some recommendations in how to manage that. And honestly, the best thing you can always do is to avoid it as best as you can, especially if it interrupts with your sleep, with your diet, with your rest, and with your work. Then, of course, they talk about cancer here as well. As you know, flying can be, you can expose yourself to a lot of UV rays from the sun, and it's always important that you protect yourself in that way. And they give some recommendations like, stop smoking, eat a healthy diet, maintain a healthy weight, cut back on alcohol, avoid sunburn, get active, reduce risk of certain infections, and discuss It's because everybody's got different genes, and some genes are prone to certain cancers, if that makes sense, especially if it's hereditary. It just kind of talks about that in this page. And the next one here is how to reduce your uh, your health risk from musculoskeletal injury. And it covers about 9 things here. Get active again, build up levels of physical activity slowly, avoid exercise when feeling unwell, adopt an ergonomically neutral posture, keep your back straight and not twisted when lifting, maintain a healthy weight, take care to avoid accidents or falls, stop smoking, sit less, move more, reduce risk from sedentary lifestyle. And then, of course, talks about the next section here, talks about nutrition. As we know, nutrition is always one of the difficult areas to manage as a pilot. You'll be surprised because you go to different places, different foods, especially if you travel internationally, different kind of foods. You have to really watch what you eat. But common recommendations here will says consume the number of calories required to obtain and maintain a healthy weight. Minimize intake of food with high refined sugar content. Eat a balanced diet. Reduce salt intake. Make healthy choices when eating away from home. Take an interest in reading and understanding food labels. Lower your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And then the next area here talks about sleep. All right. It says maintain a healthy weight, get active, avoid drinking alcohol before bedtime, stop smoking, use sleep opportunities wisely, and avoid caffeine and other stimulants before bedtime. Now, of course, travel health. As a pilot, you travel a lot. You have to understand what you're exposed to when you're traveling. And it kind of covers some generic advice here on how to protect yourself, which I'm not going to go over. You can always read this document below. But this part I think is important, which is about hearing and vision. Is protect your hearing from long duration, high level background noise, from loud noises, even if it is for a short duration. Keep the volume down, use ear protectors, see your doctor if you notice any hearing loss, reduce exposure to ultraviolet radiation or UV radiation, wear high protection, eat healthy, balanced diet, and reduce risk from diabetes. Now, like I said, this is something that you can find, which you see the link in the description below. I wanted to cover that with you because at the end of the day, you spend a lot of money going to training, you go through training, you try to work to enjoy what you've worked at for. And one of the reasons why people can be cut short in this process is their health, of course. So I hope that this is beneficial. I thought I should share this information with you. Hopefully you can use it to your own benefit and take care of yourself. It's very important.